Good morning, Valenzuelanos. Welcome to week 9 of Statistics and Probability. Our topic, dependent and independent variables and regression analysis. At the end of this lesson, you are expected to calculate the slope and y-intercept of the regression line. Second, interpret the calculated slope and y-intercept of the regression line. Third, predict the values of the independent variable given the value of the independent variable. And solve problems involving regression analysis. Before we begin, let us first remember what variables are. Many real-world situations involve two variable quantities in which one quantity depends on the other. These quantities are called the independent and dependent variables. The independent variable is the variable that can be controlled. It is the one that you changed. The dependent variable is the variable that can be tested or measured. Its value may change based on the independent variable. Can you identify the independent variable and the dependent variable in the following situations? React heart if the highlighted word or phrase illustrates an independent variable. React thumbs up if the highlighted word or phrase illustrates a dependent variable. Are you ready? Let us begin with the first example. Let's have number 1. A student wants to know the amount of sunlight needed by a plant to grow. React heart if it's independent. React thumbs up if it's dependent. Timer begins now. What is your answer? If you answered heart, then you are correct. We know that for the plant to grow, there is enough amount of sunlight. Let's have number 2. A psychology major wants to know if the amount of sleep of the student night before the test affects his score in the test. React heart if score in the test is an independent variable, or a thumbs up if it's dependent. Timer begins now. What is your answer? If you answered thumbs up, then you are correct. The amount of sleep affects the score in the test of a student. Let's go to number 3. A scientist studies the impact of Lagundi capsule to COVID-19 virus. React heart if it's independent, and a thumbs up if it's dependent. Let's start the timer now. What do you think is the answer? Did you answer heart? Then you are correct. Let's have number 4. A company charges 500 pesos per hour to rent a jackhammer. Is the variable an independent variable or a dependent variable? React heart or thumbs up now. What is your answer? If you answer thumbs up, then you are correct. Remember that the rent of a jackhammer depends on the number of hours it is used. Let's proceed with number 5. A plantita observes that the color of Mayana leaves is related to temperature or exposure to sunlight. React heart if it's independent, and a thumbs up if it's dependent. Timer begins now. So what is your answer? Did you answer Thumbs up. Of course, the color of Mayana depends on the number or the amount of sunlight that it is exposed. What is your score? Did you receive a 5/5? So you are now ready for the next discussion, which is about regression analysis. Linear regression is a type of regression that consists of finding the best fitting straight line on a scatter plot of sample data. It is used to predict the value of y for the given value of x. The slope and y-intercept of the regression line play an important role in analyzing a set of data. Let us recall the equation of the line in the slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. Remember, m is the slope of the line and b is the y-intercept. The equation of the regression line is patterned after the slope-intercept form of the equation of the line. Y hat, which is equal to bx plus a, where b is the slope of the regression line and a is the value of the y hat when x is equal to 0. To calculate the slope and y-intercept of the regression line, the following formulas will be used. For the slope, b is equal to n times the summation of x and y minus the summation of x times the summation of y divided by n times the summation of x squared minus the square of the summation of x. For the y-intercept a, we will be using the formula, the summation of y minus b times the summation of x divided by n. Let us have an example. Number 1. Marie launches a new burger creation called Bun Burger Overload, where customers can personalize their burgers by adding toppings like onions, tomatoes, lettuce, bacon, and cheese. The regression equation y hat is equal to 23 plus 5x, and it shows the cost of the bun burger with different number of toppings. If Athena has 50 pesos, what is the maximum number of toppings can she put in her bun burger overload? Second question, how much will she pay for it? Let's have the solution. Let's have step 1. Let us first identify the independent variable and dependent variable in the problem. The regression equation y hat equals 23 plus 5x represents the cost of bun burger overload for each toppings added to the regular burger. Thus, if there is no toppings added, this means that x equals 0, so that y hat will be equal to 23 pesos. It means that the cost of bun burger without toppings is 23 pesos. If x equals 1, which means that there is one topping, then y hat would be equal to 23 plus 5 times 1. Thus, our bun burger will be equal to 28 pesos. If x equals 2, which means that there are 2 toppings, then our y hat, which is the cost of the bun burger, will be 23 plus 5 times 2. This means that the burger would cost 33 pesos. And this will go on as you increase the number of toppings. And so, when x represents the number of toppings added, this means that our independent variable would be x, and y hat will be the cost of bun burger, and thus the dependent variable. We note that the cost of the bun burger depends on the number of toppings that you add. To answer the question, how many toppings can be added with the 50 pesos on hand, let us assume that our y hat would be less than or equal to 50 pesos. If that is the case, our equation 23 plus 5x would be also less than or equal to 50. Thus, when we solve for x, 5x would be less than or equal to 27, and dividing both sides by 5 will give us 27 over 5, which means that our x would be less than or equal to 5.4. That means it is implying that the maximum number of toppings that Athena can add to her burger is 5. To answer the next question, how much will a maximum of 5 toppings cost? Let us again use the formula y hat equal to 23 plus 5x. We will substitute 5 to x, thus we will get 23 plus 5 times 5. And so our y hat, which is the cost of the bun burger, is equal to 48 pesos. Did you make that clear with you, or is it clear with you? So it means that if Athena has 50 pesos, she can have 5 toppings on her bun burger, and it will be costing her 48 pesos. Let's go to number 2. During summer, many tourists, both local and foreign, go to Baguio City because of its cold temperature. A tourist center counted the number of people who enter the famous park at the same time each day. Given this data set, we will write the regression line equation. Here are the steps to follow in order to write the regression line equation. Step 1, let us make a data table with 4 columns for x, y, product of x, y, and x squared. We take note of the sample size. So, for temperature, we will use the variable x, and for the number of visitors, we will use the variable y. And so, we will have the third column for the product of x and y, and for the fourth column, we will have x squared. So, for step 2, we have to complete the table. So, if the temperature is 12, and there are 87 visitors, then xy would be 12 times 87, which will be equal to 1,044. X squared will be the square of 12, and we will get 144. When x is 21 and y is 150, then the product of x and y will be 3,150. The square of x becomes 441. If we have x equal to 20, and y equals to 110, then we have 20 times 110, which is equal to 2,200, and we will get 400. If we have x equal to 25, and the number of visitors is 90, then the product of x and y would be 1,445. X squared would be 289. If you have an x equal to 15, and a y equal to 70, then 15 times 70 would be equal to 1,050, and x squared would be 225. Lastly, if you have 13, and the number of visitors is 90, then 13 times 90 would be 1,170, and x squared would be 169. And so, we were able to complete the table. Let's go to step 3. We will add all the entries in each column to get the summation of x, the summation of y, the summation of the product of x and y, and the summation of x squared. So if our n is equal to 7, our summation of x would be equal to 123, our summation of y would be equal to 682, our summation of xy would be 12,309, and our summation of x squared would be 2,293. Step 4. We will be substituting these values to the formula for the slope b and the y-intercept a for the regression line equation. So, let us recall the formula for the slope b, which is equal to n times the summation of xy minus the product of summation of x and summation of y divided by n times the summation of x squared minus the square of the summation of x. Thus, we will have 7 times 12,309 minus the product of 123 and 682 divided by 7 times 2,293 minus the square of 123. When we calculate this using our calculators, then we will have 86,163 minus 83,886 divided by the difference of 16,051 and 15,129. Thus, our B, or the slope of our regression line, is equal to 2,277 over 922, or equal to 2.4696. That will be the slope of our regression line. To find the y-intercept, then we need to follow the format, or the formula, summation of y minus b times the summation of x divided by n. Supplying the values, 682 minus our slope, which is 2.4696, times the summation of x, which is equal to 123, divided by 7, we will get an A equal to 378.2392 divided by 7, and thus our y-intercept would be equal to 54.0342. And so, we will now substitute these values, slope and y-intercept, to the formula of the regression line equation. Y hat is equal to A plus B times X. And so, our regression line equation would be y equal to 54.0342 plus 2.4696x. Okay? Did you follow the steps? Okay. So, what do we have as the regression line equation in terms of its graph? Notice that the relationship of temperature and tourism in Baguio City is affected by temperature in degrees Celsius. So, as the temperature increase, then there is most likely a less visitor in Baguio City because it becomes hotter. If it's a small temperature, then there are more people coming in Baguio City. Let's have another example. Jamie consults her statistics teacher about the study she came across. The study claimed that there is a relation between number of years studying and basic daily salary. The regression equation is found to be y hat equal to 100 plus 30x, where our y hat refers to the basic salary and x is the number of years in school. So, the question is, what will be the independent variable in the regression equation? Can we react heart if it's basic daily salary, or a thumbs up if it's the number of years in school? Again, in the problem, which is the independent variable in the regression equation? What's your answer? You are correct. It's a thumbs up because the independent variable would be the number of years in school of any student. Let's have question number 2. Based on the slope of the regression equation, what will be the relation between the person's daily salary and the number of years studying in school? React heart if it's a positive correlation, or a thumbs up if it's a negative correlation. Timer begins now. What's your answer? Did you say heart? Of course, there is a positive correlation between the person's daily salary and the number of years studying in school. If you graduate with honors or in a graduate program, then expectedly you will have a better salary. Let's go to question number 3. Which is the correct equation to use if Jamie wants to know her future salary after taking a 2-year vocational course? Kindly react heart if the equation is 15 equal to 100 plus 30x. Or a thumbs up if it's y hat equal to 100 plus 30 times 15. Timer begins now. So what did you choose? Which formula is better to use? Okay, that's correct. The thumbs up meaning you have a y hat equal to 100 plus 30 times 15. Where 15 is the number of years in the elementary, high school, and the 2 years in vocational course. Let's go to question number 4. If Jamie wishes to take a 5-year college course, let us predict her future daily salary based on the regression equation. React hard if you will answer a future daily salary of 550 pesos or a thumbs up for 640 pesos as her future daily salary. Let us have the timer again. Okay, so what's your answer? Did you answer a thumbs up? Then you are correct. Remember, in the regression formula, we will multiply the 5-year college course to the formula given 100 plus 30x. Let's have the last question, number 5. If Jamie wishes to have a daily salary of 750 pesos a day, how many more years should she spend studying after college? Which of the two choices is appropriate to use to solve this equation? React hard if it's the formula y hat equal to 100 plus 30 times 750, or a thumbs up, which is 750 is equal to 100 plus 30x. Okay, the timer is starting. Have you chosen which one? Let's extend the timer for 5 more seconds. Okay, what's your answer? Did you answer a thumbs up? Then you are correct. Remember that 750 pesos is our y hat, which means that is our expected salary after spending more years in college. Okay? Let us now recall the steps in regression analysis. Step 1, you are to identify the independent variable and the dependent variable in the problem. Step 2, you are to calculate the slope and the y-intercept from the given data. Step 3, you are to formulate the regression equation based on the slope and y-intercept. Step 4, predict values of the dependent variable from the independent variable. For your assessment, kindly go to the page where the direction is solve for the following problems. Of course, you are given already the table. All you need to do is answer the questions from 1 to 5. So, before I go, let me teach you a song that will memorize or will help you memorize the independent variable and the dependent variables. The song is to the tune of When You're Happy and You Know It. Let's begin. Independent variables are ones you change. Independent variables are ones you change. Dependent ones you measure. Get it wrong, you feel displeasure. Independent variables are ones you change. Let's repeat that. Independent variables are ones you change. Independent variables are ones you change. Dependent ones you measure. Get it wrong, you feel displeasure. Independent variables are ones you change. So that song is actually composed by Justin Font. So this has been your LST for today. Mrs. Maria Lorena Santiago from Polo National High School. Your LST for Quarter 4, Lessons 9 and 10 in Statistics and Probability. Let me now thank everybody for joining us in this session. Mrs. Santiago is now signing off. Thank you. Good day. God bless.